How would you
Okay.
like to make your first million? And today we have Jesse Sell with us, and he's an impact investor and the co-founder and COO of Impact Growth Capital. So Jesse, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Harry, it's a great question. I'll be honest. I left the military about 7, 8 years ago, and I Googled that exact question. How can I make $1 million, right? And what I would discover was in America, 90% of millionaires own real estate. So that's what I realize is, oh my gosh,
Mm,
that's my ticket, right?
mhm,
So at the beginning, I looked at, well, I've flipped homes, I've rented out my own house, moving around, bought and sold, and that's doable, right? It's achievable to buy a house, rent it out, buy another house. But I did the math, Harry, and it's like 60 something houses I'd have to buy and rent out to get 10,000 a month of passive
mhm,
income.
mhm.
That's not realistic, right? That's crazy. Uh, so that's when I
And
discovered there's
a lot of work
yeah,
as well,
yeah,
because you have a lot of operation. Tell me about it.
it's not passive. That's not realistic, right? That's crazy. Um, so so then I did some YouTube University, some read some books, and for me, I discovered what syndications are, and I jumped right into that, and now I'm doing something a little bit different now with a capital partnering with different developers and things. But that's really how like I discovered my way to become a millionaire or be worth that much is by working with other people, right? Using other people's money, helping other people get rich by buying real estate assets, renovating, and then really focusing on the people. So I know you asked me for 5 steps, but I think the big thing is there's a lot of niches right now. There's a lot of areas where people um, need support. Mine was helping the people that at the lowest level. I mean, there's AI boom right now. There's a lot of different areas. There's a lot of different opportunities now. I'd say more than ever. There's all these opportunities, but it's also easier than ever to not do anything. So I think for people to go out there and create their own businesses to market themselves, create a brand. Harry, you have some great quotes. I actually looked up some stuff about what you've said previously. Um, where I want to quote you right here, if you don't mind. It says,
Of
"Anyone can
course.
become a leader and a powerful speaker if they unlock their true voice and confidence." And I freaking, Harry, I love that.
Thank
That's a
you.
great quote by you, and it's true. Like right now, we have that capacity, the capability now is more than ever before. But it's also easier than ever to be lazy and sit on your butt and do
Yeah.
nothing.
Jesse, 1 out of 5 millionaires that we interview in this podcast, they are property millionaires. And
Uh,
we want our listeners, they are people that want to be entrepreneur, that they're already entrepreneur. They own a small business, medium business, large businesses. They also can working in corporate that want to become entrepreneurs. Okay. And then listening this podcast, they see people like you and they see, okay, if 1 out of 5 people that come to Harry podcast are property millionaires, maybe it's easy to become a property millionaire. And the truth is, it's a good vehicle, okay? Because
yep.
you Google it, this podcast is the real proof of that, okay? Because this podcast, 5 Steps How to Make a Million Unstoppable, how come 1 out of 5 property investors are showing up? So there is no doubt about the vehicle, but tell us the truth. Is it that easy to become a property millionaire? Tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly of the property so our audience can have a real perspective, because it doesn't matter what I say, they see, they're listening, and they say, you know what, I'm going to do property. And sometimes they have to be careful because something goes wrong in property.
Yes.
You take a big
Uh,
hit, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I started out by buying mobile home parks, and mobile home parks are they're interesting.
Good. I love it. Good
No,
return.
Honestly, like people
Sounds
don't like,
amazing.
they're amazing. They cash flow amazing. They're
Yeah, yeah,
great
yeah, yeah.
investments.
Music to my ears. So what
You're
happened?
also gonna have some stories. You know, there's some craziness that goes on in mobile home parks. And we've had issues where um we had a guy one time, this is a
Mm,
quick story, but he tried to sue me because
mm.
he cut himself really badly. Well, he had some extracurricular activities, doing
Wow.
some drugs, and he was trying to steal the copper pipes out of the ground.
Oh
Harry,
my goodness.
we didn't have copper pipes in the ground. They're PVC. So he literally cut himself open trying to crawl on the ground and like dig this stuff up and try
Oh
to sue
my.
us. It's just like, no, you're an idiot. Like,
Well,
just
why are you
be
doing a hole in the property, man? Come on.
yeah, you're not gonna make a lot of money out of PVC.
Ah,
Plastic pipes over here.
eh,
No, so yeah, there's a lot of I've only done affordable housing, so I've got a lot of stories, a lot of crazy circumstances from people where there's like fight clubs on the property, literally, where everybody was standing on the balconies looking in as kids were fighting and betting on it. Um, but also there's a lot of like heartfelt where people just needed uh,
absolutely.
needed some support, and we were able to give them some support
100%.
and give
With,
them the connections and the
mhm.
change their lives, right?
Yeah.
So,
I feel, Jesse, what you do because 100%, like I shared with you before the podcast, my first business was in property. We were doing rent to rent.
right.
But we were renting a property, a full property, and renting the rooms individually. But the people that we were renting them, it was the young students coming to London from all over Europe. In Europe, when you finish university, everybody want to learn English.
Yep.
That's what they tell the parents are going to London to learn English. They're going to party anyway, but that's what they tell the parents. But it's a common practice in Europe. To go to London when people finish university, students finish university to go and learn and study English, right? And learn
Mhm.
English. And then I was providing the accommodation for that group of people. They call it landing services. Now, this is the issue. This population is very vulnerable. Number one, they are young. Number two, they don't have an employment. They don't have pay slips. They don't have. So now they are those students, despite that they're very good people and the parents are very good people, they've been neglected and they were living what was offered to them. It was the worst of the worst,
Right.
and I was actually one of them. I came to London for the same reason, right? And
Right.
was offering to me the worst of the worst, so I know the pain. So when I solve it for myself, and then I started to offer to that population, that students, um, that accommodation which is painted, which is a decent place to live, right, and to
Mhm.
affordable price, and I know that they can pay in the same way that I can pay. Yeah, I couldn't prove that
Right.
I can pay because I arrived there, I have no job. But I brought some money from Spain. Then otherwise, the parents pay. They definitely actually we managed to save 5 million doing this 28 property for 15 years, 10 years, and we barely have an issue with the with the rent or rent always get paid, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes um, an impact investor is needed to serve a neglected part of the market that for any reason the stereotypes um, can let them out. And if you come with a decent product and you really care about them, you literally can make a fortune. I make a fortune. I can
Mhm.
tell you. And deliver a decent place for those students to live, which I think it
Right.
was the biggest value. So Jesse, tell us about it's possible to do good and make money at the same
Yeah.
time. And in property, because I experienced myself, you can do good and make a lot of money.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yes.
why there is no more impact investors like you, Jesse, around United States? Why I also can tell you the proof in this podcast, right? We 500 million is property, and we have few impact investors coming here for property. You're not the first one, but there are not that many. I think top 5 or 6 max out of 100 property millionaires. So Why if we can make a lot of money doing good at the same time, we don't have that many impact investors around in property?
I think so there's two things I'll answer here. So why don't more people do it? I think it's a lot of work, right? It's there are
Mm,
um
and risk. Nobody want to have tenants that they are can have social problems, right?
right, yeah, but also like
They are human beings also,
yes, absolutely.
and
And
it's
here's my
very
thought.
lucrative also. Eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
The government pay the rent, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Who better client than the government?
Yeah, the government will pay the rent for it. Yeah, no, there's that, but then like, so in order to get attached to all these different organizations that will pay for a resident's rent, you got to reach out to them. You got to set up a relationship with them. So, for example, my property in Fort Worth, I have 180 units up there, apartment complex, and I have 50 nonprofits, 50 charities that will work with our residents,
Wow,
right?
that's amazing.
I went out and found them because nonprofits, those charities, they don't really broadcast what they're doing because they're raising money too. And they don't want to tell everybody else what they're doing. So you got to reach out and create those relationships. Then you can get attached. And then now they'll have, a case manager working with the resident to help them find a job, get them off the streets, to help
Exactly. If you do
with
a
daycare.
360 approach, right?
Yeah. I was
There
wrapping up
are
service. Yeah.
situations, yeah, because you can bring a charity that help them to find job. If they have a job and then they have use in society, they don't go and drink alcohol, they don't do drugs,
Mhm.
they don't have the need to steal anything or to because those segments of the population, you need to see why they had the problem on the first place. And sometimes they get depressed, they don't have a job, they have nothing to do, they start to drink and they start to do kind of crazy thing. So
Absolutely.
the
Here's the thing, it pays,
Mhm.
right? The biggest expense in owning a property is the turnover. We'll have people moving out, right? And that's like 40 to 60%,
Absolutely.
right? That's 40 to 50% of the population of your property moves out every year on average. Ours is way lower because we've got this crazy idea, Harry. If you take care of your people, they take care of you,
Absolutely.
right? So
I
they want to
don't
be there. They all stay longer.
100%.
So
Hundred
it's
percent. I don't.
so we actually outperform most people just because we care and because we
Absolutely. You bring the
extra work.
charities there. You bring the charities
Yep.
there to help them out. Charity that help them out to look after the kids. Charity that might have to give a little bit extra work. Charity that show them some
After school
skills to
programs.
work after school programs. All that, the community, they will never move out. And you know what? If they don't move out and the government is paying the rent,
Yep.
you are in literally la la land. And
I bet.
even better, they can make their look. I remember in London when I started my landing services, I'm speaking with the tenants, the same thing, retention. So
Yep.
if I have a room empty, it's a lot of money. So every time that they're checking out, I'm asking them, look, why you leaving? And say, no, Harry, look, the English school is too expensive.
Mm.
And I've been there 6 months, 8 months. I'm paying the rent. My parents are paying the rent plus the English school. It's too much.
Yeah.
We cannot afford it. I said, look, this is the reason why you're leaving, that the English school is expensive. So this is what we're gonna do. So I'm probably the only person in the world that own an English school without speaking English. Yeah. I opened an English school for them and said, look, I don't speak English, but definitely can hire a British teachers, blue eyes, blonde blue eyes, my British teacher. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Premium English teachers. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hired in London, and with that we have a little. I took the office. The office has 2 rooms. I got the office. I said, okay, we don't need these 2 rooms. One half of the office, the tiny room, is gonna be where we sign the contracts, do the paperwork for the tenants, and the other big room, I bought chairs, tables, a
Yeah.
board, and that's it. The school was open, and the slogan was English lesson, £40 a week, which is actually appealing. It's very cheap. So we put the sign
Yeah.
outside the office like these people we see in the bus. Guess what happened? You want to know what happened? What happened was that the tenants are staying longer because now they don't have to pay a fortune for an English school. It was also convenient for them because it's close to the houses, because I have the office close to the houses. And on top of that, guess what happened? The people on the bus that they were coming because the price was cheap to learn
Yeah.
English. They say, "Oh, I want to learn English here because it's cheap." And guess what happened? My managers, they were there, said, "By the way, do you need a room?" Yeah, of course. I just arrived last week. Come on. So
Yeah.
it was the best marketing strategy, and it was about thinking about this, Jesse, about the 360. After we open a career advice,
Right.
after the what you know, what's the problem? No, now I learn English, but now if I have a job, I will stay longer. Really? If you have a job, you will stay longer. So we put a career advice services. They in 24 hours we find the job as a waiter, of course, but they will the whole thing. But in that process, Jesse, you actually bring in a lot of value and helping them out
Absolutely.
with that 360 approach. And I think that
And now
what
they're more loyal to you, right? And now they want to be there because now they see you appreciating them and they see you supporting them. So that now they're going to tell their friends, their family about you. And I just think it's the law of reciprocation, right? Like the more you do for other people, the more that comes back for yourself.
100%. 100%. So, in terms of social responsibility, where these vibe came to you, right? Like, you see, entrepreneurship and social responsibility not always come together. We have a lot of debate in this podcast, right? Because we see
Yeah.
companies out there that the only thing they do is put the plastic in the plastic bin, and
Mhm.
they put it everywhere. You see, like, oh, we are recycling, we are amazing, we are social responsible, right? And such a
Yeah.
responsibility comes a little bit more that looking after your plastic, it includes hiring minorities,
Mhm.
contribute to a local charity in your community, be socially responsible, right? Look after the planet, look after the minorities, hiring women, for example, in the WordPress,
Mhm.
funding for women, a lot of issues that we have that includes the 360 degrees of social and conscious entrepreneur. So where this inspiration come to you that, like, don't get me wrong, you can make a lot of money doing a lot of things in property and
Right.
you don't need to be an impact investor. So why do you choose this path? What's the
Yeah.
story?
No, so it's I wish I was more altruistic and felt this way in the beginning, but
Where this
honestly, like
philanthropic vibe came to you?
so when I first started getting into commercial real estate, I'll be honest, I just wanted like financial stability. I just wanted freedom, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like, as we started buying properties, we cleaned it up, right? 'Cause we bought properties that had issues. We kick out the bad people, take care of the good people. I started seeing, like, oh my gosh, we can have a bigger impact on more than just owning a property, right? There's plenty of money to be made that way, but nothing wrong with that. But I started seeing that, holy cow, now kids are outside playing when they didn't feel comfortable going
Mm-hmm.
outside, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then COVID happened, and we had a lot of government dollars that was out there for people for free rent and all that stuff. And it really wasn't until one of our residents got sick, and she unfortunately stage 4 lung cancer, death notice, right? She has 4 months to live.
Wow.
So she was an amazing resident. She's she's the type of person that would come in a room, big smile, light up the whole room. Uh, in our office in our apartment complex, she'd come in and steal our coffee all the time. I remember that about her. Because, yeah, right. Yeah, like if I did that, I'd get yelled at. But she was just that personality where she'd walk right in and pour herself a cup of coffee. Well, one day, like I saw that she was on the eviction notice. I was like, oh no, we can't, not Mary. We can't, what's going on? And that's when we found out that she wasn't comfortable telling everybody else that she had stage 4 lung cancer and
Wow.
that medicine, chemo is poison, right? So she had a good
Mm-hmm.
job,
Mm-hmm.
but she was so sick from the chemo, she couldn't go to her job, so she lost her job.
Oh, wow.
again, this is COVID, so I was like, okay, there's plenty of free money out there. We'll go find government dollars, so she can, at least have a place to stay. And we discovered that they wouldn't pay for it because she had a good job and she quit or she lost her job. Um, and that's when like, holy cow, I need to do more. And that's when I discovered the 50 nonprofits in Fort Worth, is because I started picking up the phone and I just said, I need to get her covered, right? I need to get her food on her table. I need to get her legal support. I need to pay for her rent, like whatever else. And I was able to do it over time, but it took me, I don't know, 20 hours of just calling and calling and calling and finding this nonprofit and this charity and this charity. And then finally found one that, yeah, paid her rent. Great, right? But also literally put food on her table, literally flew her family down to say goodbye. Legal support, so wills, all that stuff. And that's when like that final click in my brain went off that holy cow, we can do a lot more. And all we have to do is pick up the phone. All we have to do is create those connections with the right groups and organizations. So when the next Mary pops up or the next situation, like we can actually provide support for our residents, our people. So very long answer, but yeah,
No,
it
I love it.
was
I
a
love it.
process,
I love it
right?
that the thing you see the time to time, and I'll do talks in universities on how to start a business. The dean of the university, they ask me all the time, Harry, especially in South America, Harry, please do a talk to the students how they can start and grow
Mhm.
their business, because the reality is that 50% of them, they're not going to have jobs
Mhm.
after they graduated, so they have to create their own job, right? And this type of entrepreneurship, how to start your own small business, even selling food in a small truck or something small that can give them the possibility to that community, that those community of those individuals actually to create their own job. The
Yep.
level of fulfillment that is gonna give them, it will bring them and reintegrate them uh, back in society. Like I said, I have an amazing experience doing this. I did it for a lot of years, doing landing services to young students in London, and I have to tell you two things. Number one was amazing knowing that um, that um, that we were doing something amazing for those students that I didn't have a decent place.
Mhm.
They have it, and my company was providing that gave me a lot of fulfillment. And also I remember that when the other part of this is that when you create a value like that, you get rewarded financially big time. It was actually very lucrative for all the parts involved.
Mhm.
They wanted to pay a little bit more because they want to be in a decent place, and they can afford a little bit more for that. And but our margins, they were amazing. So everybody happy, and from the business side, we are more happy. But then it comes, I remember one day that it came the electricity bill for mine, for the whole company. We had 28 houses, and all bill was included. So, and then I have this call for social responsibility, right? And I said to the we're gonna change all the light bulbs. So imagine how many light bulbs we have. We're gonna buy energy saving light bulbs. It was a big hit, because I think it was half a container from China we need to bring
Holy cow.
of
Yeah.
all, yeah, changing all the light bulbs. And the accountant everybody was freaking out. So how are you gonna make this investment in light bulb? You crazy? It's a lot of volume. Guess what happened? We changed all the light bulbs, normal one from energy saving. And if you see the saving that came on the next month and onwards in energy from the whole uh, portfolio, it was an stretch, but that stretch as a business was necessary in
Yep.
order to do good and make money at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, so
Absolutely. Those little investments that make a huge difference.
so that give you a level of fulfillment. So yes, sometimes in your business you need to do um big investments just because it's the right thing to do. how you feel about this? Like you said sometimes, wow, just a lot of money. For me, like I said, I didn't think it. I'll buy the container and I'm gonna do it, right? But the people around me, they were my money, the accountant, people were not happy about me investing such a large amount of money in a container of light bulbs. That who cares about light bulb? And then, it was a lot of money, and so the people around me were not that happy about my social responsibility decision. So I'm sure that you face the same thing, right? Sometimes you have to invest a lot of money in your business just to do the right thing, and then all of a sudden the business side reward you for it, and you actually make more money. So tell
Yeah.
us how you're facing these challenges and how you have overcome that challenge in your business.
I think that's the fun part of commercial real estate is that, if you have the vision and where you can see the future of if I invest this or if I do this, whether it's renovating, whether it's just light bulbs, whatever it is, or it's renting out some rooms to the police station. We've done that before. So then now there's police presence on the property all the time. So the crime goes down and
Oh, wow, that's a great idea. This idea
yep,
is
you
brilliant.
take that from me. Yep, I
I
did
love.
that
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah, yeah. Wow, what a great idea.
Yeah, so but you have to have that vision and then make it happen, right? And then you see the dividends on the back end. So as long as it makes financial sense, I think it's a great plan. But that's the fun part to me is how do we piece this all together? What do we need to do to, yeah, make more money, but also like make this more profitable for us, for our investors, and then create a better product for our residents as well.
So how there are the stock vessel? I can only speak for United Kingdom because I've been doing property for so many years, so I know what's going on there very well. And I can tell you that in London,
Uh,
there is a lot of demand for these properties. They will take it of you. They are actually uh, very little stock, and
yeah.
so in United States, how you see the landscape is the same challenge that there is in UK. For me, no. For me, I will buy if I had to buy thousand, I will buy thousand. I will get all of them to the council because they are amazing. It's amazing, and you get paid
Yeah.
all the time. You have to worry about maintenance. It's amazing.
Mhm.
But in London, they are actively always looking and looking and looking. They have literally more people that they need to allocate to get in the property that actually properties available. That's what I share with you. Like if you build in London uh, um, a brand new development,
Mhm.
part of the land you have to develop something in order to allocate people on benefit, people that have needs of living because they don't have a stock. So sometimes the
Yeah.
developer goes and look, I love this location. It's close to High Park, whatever. You want it really good? Take it. Do a skyscraper if you want. I don't care. But look, I need this that you build me a couple of buildings for people in benefit. So how is the landscape here in United States? Is it really short of a stock, same like in UK, or not really?
No, absolutely. There's a massive affordability crisis right now in the U.S. Where people just can't afford to buy a home, so they can't afford to pay
Mm-hmm.
rent. It's
Mm-hmm.
massive issue. So that's why I stay in that affordable housing area where it's Class B,
Mm-hmm.
Class C, which so it's not the fanciest stuff,
What's
but
the difference about Class B, Class C? What that
so
means, Class B and Class C? I don't know anything
okay,
about United
so
States, so I'm
yeah,
asking you.
no problem. Yeah, so Class A is like brand new, marble, beautiful, right? Class B is probably 15, 10 years old, a little bit older. It's still nice. And then Class C is where people are making, it might be 20 years old. It might be a little outdated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I stay, where I clean those places up, I renovate them, make them nice. But I stay there
How about
because
mobile homes?
mobile homes? I love mobile
Mobile,
homes.
yeah,
Yeah, we
but
do mobile furniture.
the government will take mobile homes also, or no?
You can. There's some programs where they'll house people in
Depends,
Section
yeah.
8. Yep.
Mm.
But yeah, I like that because there's just a massive affordability crisis right now in America. where people can't afford to pay for the Class A beautiful apartment complex, right? But they can pay for other things. And then if we're looking at a recession or whatever, coming up in the future, people downgrades. So that's pretty recession proof when you do those affordable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When times
Oh,
go down, property, you know how it is. It goes around. The time, tell me
yep.
about it,
Yep.
The I think that I'm already 2008.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2007, 8. This is when I started my business. I'm starting my
Oh,
business in the
perfect
middle of the
timing. Yep.
recession. Yeah.
Yeah.
In middle of the recession, this is when I saw that was a good idea to have that business. And I got so lucky that what
Yeah.
happened was that because everybody lost the job,
Yep.
people couldn't rent the whole flats because it was when Lehman Brothers, all these credit crunch things.
Yeah.
So everybody lost the job, so nobody can afford the whole flat.
Right.
And on the other hand, because they don't have job, the only that they can afford is a room. So
Yeah.
they here I was in the middle, no Airbnb, no headache back then, no this I'm telling you, long time ago. I used to have hair, so imagine how 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So there I was in one side that number one, all the houses were empty because everybody left the renters because they couldn't afford. So we have houses empty all over London that you can pick and choose. Yeah, I'm very cheap because then the landlord want to rent it to you because even cheap rather than have something than nothing. Yeah, and there was a
Mhm.
lot of stock available. And on the other hand, there was a big, massive population that they couldn't afford
Yeah.
the full house. They only can afford room, and still they need to stay in London to find another job because where they're gonna find it if they're not in London. So this is where. And then I was there with my landing services, and it was a lot of demand for. So sometimes sometimes the recessions in property, it depend on of the strategy you do, can be amazing. Yes, for me, I'm not gonna say, but I love recessions, but I'm not gonna say this because I don't think it's appropriate. But I would say, well, let me rephrase it. I don't love recessions, but recessions are a very good window of opportunity.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
every time that there is recession, I'm like, wow, you see, because there is a lot of opportunity more
Yep.
than when things are stable, especially in property. When so now let's talk about the vehicle, Jesse. You shared something very powerful. I want our audience to reflect on that. Yeah, because when you start the podcast, you said, "I'm gonna be honest. I want to be financially free, right? I know I
Yep.
want to do well in making money." And then I Google it, and they say property is a great vehicle. This has happened to me as well. There is a lot of statement people say, right, in this podcast, do what you love. Yeah. I remember I was doing these property gigs in London, right? I will do this event. I call it Property Investment Summits. I don't remember.
Mhm.
Big gigs, yeah, they're coming. So we put a lot of people in the room. I was talking about rent to rent, what I was doing. A lot of people want to come and learn, yeah. And I used to invite people from an expert for Airbnb, an expert for multi-occupancy, an expert mortgage broker. So a lot of speakers will come and we will do this gig, yeah. And I remember backstage, one of the speakers told me, Harry, listen to me. An old man, his name was Jim Hollywood. They call it HMO Daddy, House of Multiple Occupancy. HMO, they call it in London, Daddy. So the guy have hundreds of those properties.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah, he told me that he's building a, how you call this? Um, a dynasty. I said, what is a dynasty? I said, Harry, a dynasty is when the children of 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 your family never have to work
Yeah.
again. That's what this guy was doing. Was a teacher, by the way. So Jim come and tell me, Harry, look, if a tenant call you at 1 a.m. on Sunday complaining that the boiler is not working and you need to bring the plumber urgently right now, and you get upset about the call, probably you shouldn't be in the property business. And I realized that when I started the property, I wanted to make money.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to make money, same like you, right? And a
Right.
friend said, look, if you do property, you will make money, right? Now, when I'm passionate 100% about property, I always say, those talks, these speaking gigs that I do, this is what I really love to talk to the people, do this podcast. But I'm very grateful of property, and without property, I won't have anything. I would not even be able to live even my passion or what I'm passionate about if it was not from property that create the big foundation. So my question to you, JC, is a good vehicle versus what you're really passionate about. What is your opinion in this? Because something is for sure. If you make a lot of money, you can live your passion. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes what you're passionate about, that vehicle is not strong enough so you can make a living out of this. But I don't know. This is my opinion. What is your opinion on this? Is it really passion, or do what you love, and you will become a wealthy? Doesn't matter what. Or what if we find a vehicle that is proven that you can get wealthy really quick, and then probably you fell in love with the thing. You clearly fell in love with what you do. Yeah. And for me, I like a lot of things. Yeah, I didn't like when I had to fix the things for the tenants. So tell us what is your opinion?
Yeah. So I think generally, I think there's two different ways, right? So, like you're talking about, you can either work, make a lot of money, and then do your passion on the side, or be your passion part of what you do. We had a property management company for a while, vertically integrated. We did it all. We had like 1,400 units at that time. I hated it. I hated answering the phone. I hated dealing with the 40 or so employees, maintenance
Mm,
guys, property managers. Hated it. Just
sometimes it's
calls at
tough.
midnight. Yeah,
It's
that's
tough. You
tough.
feel, like, let me tell you something. In winter, last
Uh,
week of December in London, which is the week that is more cold,
yeah.
which is Christmas time,
Uh-huh.
you cannot get any plumber unless that is your
Right.
personal friend.
Yes.
Forget about the money. He has to be your pet. Even that, and this is exactly the week that
Mhm.
all
He's
the
breaking.
tenants are at home, and all the boilers break at the same time because they
Yep.
overusing it, and there is no way that you can get in Christmas a plumber that
Yep.
week because so it's sometimes you are in the middle of a situation that, and and it's a lot of pressure. I remember, right?
Right. Yeah. So I hated it. Yeah. And I realized, I did the math. I was like, again, like we're not gonna make enough money until we have like 3,000 units for this to even make sense. So we shut down that because I didn't enjoy it, So now I enjoy what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing. Up a
Mm-hmm.
step further back, I'm doing asset
Very
management,
good. Very
property,
good.
focusing on the results and how do we get those results. I'm focusing on the relationships with nonprofits. I'm focusing on the relationships with our residents. How are we
And the impact that you can do, that the whole operation can do, social responsibility,
right? And I couldn't do that when I was in the day-to-day operations of,
100%.
did you pay your rent? Hey, I'm trying to find a plumber. You can't do
Oh,
that.
when you
Yeah.
when you doing this, I remember when I have my company. I
Yeah.
at beginning I have 7 houses, and I
Yeah.
remember I said I want to expand, and I'm talking to myself. I say, Harry, you have a small mess here. If you expand, you're gonna expand a big mess. And
Yep.
then so the expansion was, and again, this is one of the reasons why I didn't expand more that business is because I'm thinking, um, we take it to 28 houses, but I'm thinking, if you expand, you also
Mhm.
expand all the employees, you expand the contractors, you expand the whole thing. And sometimes you don't make more money by expanding because I
Yep.
didn't know that. I said,
Gotta
oh,
hire another person.
the
I
exact,
got
no, I
our
said that
marketing person.
7 houses.
Accountant. Yeah.
If I was thinking 7 houses, you have 14 houses, I make double money. You make double money? No. Step
Nope.
number step number one, now you need a proper accountant because now the transactions are long. Step number two, if you have 14 houses, something happen every day. So you need a 24/7 in-house contractor, which you didn't have when you had 7. And I'm thinking, how come I expand this company? I have more headache than before. So
100% agree.
and I brought more work for me, and the numbers is still the same. So sometimes, okay, let's say this, Jesse, scaling up. The good, the bad, and the ugly in property. Obviously, when we scaled to 28, look, it was amazing. Well, one day I arrived to the office and my manager told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you. And we can grow this company without you. So they literally fired me from my own company. They sent me home.
Good.
And my manager was, this is a true story. She was going to see me once a month for 2 hours to tell me, not to ask me, to tell me what she was doing with the company, because she was actually better than me, you know, in acquiring the houses and dealing with the tenant, organizing everything. She was amazing, right? So, so when you finally put this off, it's a big relief because you can do that. I remember that I was doing like this, you know, thinking, what can I do next? Let's do the career advice. Let's do, you know, what is the last thing, the problem that I can solve to her, that if I solve this problem, we solve all the problem. And that was only my only job, and it was amazing. But it was a path. And when it was in the middle, it was a point that I was working more, bringing more headache because of this expansion thing. And I'm saying, how come from 7 houses I went to 14 and I'm making the same money, probably less money, and I'm working more? What happened here? So tell us about scaling up, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, I think scaling is interesting because for me, it's just always a new growing pain, right? There's always, you get bigger and bigger and bigger, but now you have to hire an HR person. Now you're dealing with all your employees. There's just, now you're doing marketing, right? Now you're starting a podcast. You know, there's always a new thing that you've got to figure out, which is amazing. That's my favorite part about
now you have more vacancy. Now you have more vacancy now.
Now you got to deal with that. There's always something else as you get bigger that now you've got to worry about and figure out, which is the fun part, but also it's stressful, and it's now a new thing you got to figure out as an entrepreneur and business owner. So I'd say that's the good, bad, and the ugly. It's just figuring out where the growth pains are.
I will say to the people, don't expand too fast. I remember, you know, because I didn't have any clue what I was doing. I was under the impression, well, if you have more houses, you make more money, double. That's good. I was under that impression, but you know, you have acquiring houses, you have to pay deposit, rent, feed the houses, renovate them, and then you get 3, 4, 5. And I was taking the property too fast. And I remember more than one time, I'm going to the office and I had to smile like this. And I don't even have 10 pounds in the bank account. A whole operation. Thanks God that was a property thing. And next day someone paid rent and money was coming every single day. But there were days that they were scary. I'm arriving to the office and said, and pretend everything is fine. And I didn't know what I was doing. But the truth is I was expanding too fast. You know, I should take one, renovate them, rent it, wait 1 month, 2 months to get the cash flow stable, and then take the other like this. I was 2, 3, 4. Come on, let's do it, and everybody rented. So the whole thing was a machine. But when I wake up, it was a big cash flow problem that came along the soil. That how can I know? There's no, I didn't know that this will come to me again because of the expansion. So Jesse, somebody want to know more about you, how people can find you, how this process works. Maybe they want to invest in your deals, if they are impact investors and they can contribute to what you're doing, which I think is amazing. So how people can find you, how this process works?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to find me is on our website, impactgrowthcap.com, or LinkedIn, the Jesse Sells.
That's fantastic. So thank you so much, Jesse, for the broadcast, and for all of you following the podcast. See you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Jesse break that wall, achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.